This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everyone, from Halas Report. We are doing a Christmas edition because the Bears are playing tomorrow. So with me, it's two guys that don't have an opinion about much of anything. I got Woody with us tonight. Good evening, Woody.
Go Devils.
Yeah. So hey, did you watch the Netflix games, right?
Yeah, most of it. Yeah, we're eating dinner.
The Pittsburgh games, this is why some of you guys aren't calling games on major networks. And then, the studio team, I was like, yeah, RG3 got fired for reasons. He isn't that good.
Oh man.
Him and Manti Te'o, I was like, oh, do we have to listen to these guys? I'd rather listen to Beyonce.
And that's pushing it. She tries to sing. She's trying to sing country. That's just not happening. Sorry.
And then they snuck in a Mariah song too. I was like, oh, is Netflix trying to kill me today?
No, Mariah Carey. It was my childhood crush. They can play her anytime. And Mariah Carey, if you are listening, I'll give you my address. You let me know.
So Netflix, look at the thing of the day on Netflix though was CM Punk, because they had to do all the WWE stuff because they're going to do Monday Night Raw for those who watch Shield TV on the network, and they had CM Punk on before the Steelers.
Merry Christmas, broski.
Merry Christmas, broski. Merry Christmas, Sarah.
And you brought that up with the wrestling. Hey, I know this is not the wrestling show, but Brock Lesnar is coming back. Can't wait to see that.
He leaves, comes back, leaves, comes back.
Jeez. Yeah, I know. Contract.
The whole CM Punk though went off on the Chicago Bears on the pregame. He said the Bears will never do anything until the McCaskies sell the team.
It could be. It could be the answer too. You know what? How many coaches could fail? How many players could fail in Chicago? Then we have to go up higher. Maybe it is the ownership. You never know.
I mean, usually, like with the Cubs, there was an argument because the Tribune company never spent money, right? And that's why we made the argument about the Cubs. Well, the Tribune's cheap bastards. They don't spend money, and you see it with certain ownership, like the owners don't spend money, or but that's never been the issue with the Bears. George McCaskey's pretty much pulled himself out of football operations. At least that's what we've been told. So, I mean, I don't know if owners. I mean, it's not Virginia. Virginia's not saying much. All Virginia wants to see. It's like, look, guys, I'm 101.
Yeah,
I want to win.
She wants to see 102.
Yeah, I want to see 102, and I want a Lombardi. Okay, can I get those two things, please? George, I don't think George is really doing football operations. He's probably more on the other side of the house working on this whole stadium debacle, which is a debacle in a way. Right now is now bad for other people who, Brock Lesnar's got to be close to 50, Sarah.
And Sarah, there's nothing wrong with 50. I'll be there in 2 years. Please explain with the laughy face. And Ken, I wanted to bring this up. We have a little quick segment. Listen, anybody that needs, Ken has it. I had it for 7 years. Fire Stick service. I have 4 devices, $50 a month. You get 9,000 channels, 18,000 movies, and 10,000 series. It is legal. It's great. Save your money on these cable. You're paying $50 a month for all these channels. It's legal. You won't get busted. It's not jailbroken. You need help, let me know. and it's a great service. Had it for 7 years. Go ahead, Ken.
All of us have it. I've got it. Mike's have it. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
I have Netflix for free, so I watch Netflix on that. But Woody watched it on the
And
service.
it's under the NFL Sunday Ticket. They had it under Thursday Night Football. So the
With-
Bears will be on there tomorrow.
Yeah. So great service. I use it, and for those who know what a Plex server is, it has a Plex server kind of ability with the video on demand, which is great for your TV shows. Because for me, the hardest part, and Woody can attest this, when he first talked to me about it, I was like, "But dude, I gotta have my DVR." I no longer care about a DVR, guys. It's all right there on demand.
Yep.
Back to football though, but reach out to Woody, guys. Reach out to Woody. He'll hook you up on that. It's a good deal. Broski says, I don't think anything will change until the McCaskey sell.
Right.
They let Phillips hang out too long, and Warren is a complete joke. I don't know if Warren's a complete joke. He's only been here. All the reasons teams are a joke, and I don't think I'd call Foles a joke either, bros. Here's the thing, though. On top of all that, Bears aren't going to be able to be sold until they figure out this stadium. No one's going to buy the Bears, I don't think, without a stadium deal in place or the stadium being built. I agree with Broski that renovating Soldier Field is a stupid idea. Everyone in Chicago hated it. That's why we called the spaceship that landed in Soldier Field. That was a deal made with the city of Chicago, though. And that deal was made back in 2001, the late 90s, early 2000s when they made that deal, because I went to a 10-year high school reunion in 2001. That was the last year in Old Soldier. In 2002, we were at U of I. In 2003 is when they opened up the spaceship. That is, no one's going to buy the Bears. Bears can't really be sold, I don't think, until they figure out where the stadium's going to be, because that's going to be part of that package, right? So, yeah, but him not entertaining Jim Harbaugh doesn't make him a joke. There's a personal thing there, maybe. There's something that doesn't mesh. I get it, but it's not to say he won't entertain other people. I mean, and the thing on Harbaugh, honestly, for like 4 or 5 years, every year we got the heart tug. Oh, Harbaugh, and then he'd be like, no, that's okay. I'm going to stay at Michigan. Harbaugh had several opportunities, including during when we hired Eberflus. He had an opportunity to be the Bears coach then, and he said no. So, and I don't blame Warren for no, because every time we go to you, you just say no, I'm going to stay at Michigan. So no, I what? Harbaugh had his opportunities to be in Chicago. Let's not get it twisted.
Well, Broski just came back, but I had first. How can I say it? Somebody came into my dealership, worked for Landmark. He's from Chicago. Even though Chicago Bears bought, the land in Arlington Heights, they're using it as leverage. The stadium will not be built in Arlington Heights. That's what the guy said, and I believe him. He showed me videos, and I was like, wow. So there you go with that stadium shit.
Yeah, Ben Johnson, a couple years ago, he wasn't even a name, Broski. I mean, he wasn't even a good OC yet.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to get to that in a minute, A-Dub. That's a good call, too. I'll talk about that. There was reports today that came out. It was from our favorite NFL insider, saying that Pete Carroll might be interested in. He wants to come back to coaching, and he's interested in Chicago.
Oh boy, rumors! I tell you,
we're gonna get a lot of them.
Oh my God!
I mean, but for Pete Carroll, he's 72 years old, right? I don't know how much. I mean, he doesn't look it, but he's 72. As a coach, he's good. We all know he's a good coach. I mean, we know he's a good coach. Yeah, but last offseason we weren't interviewing anyone, Broski. That's it. And I get the report out there now that Foles wanted to fire Flus and Warren and ownership didn't. I get that, but you had a head coach in place. I get that, and look at the defense was good. They had improved their record last year, right? We were a 7-win team. They improved from a 3-win to a 7-win, a team that had a lot of promise. I mean, hindsight's always going to be 20/20. Oh, he's going to be 2020 on that. So I can kind of see though where they were. I hope
Elon
Elon
Musk.
buys.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Then
That's
there's Bezos buying the team too. That I forgot.
that is great.
I don't
That
think
would be
Bezos
awesome.
and Elon
That's awesome.
So I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know, broski. Hindsight's 2020 on that. I mean, I can see where the Bears were last year in keeping Eberflus based off, how the record improved, how the defense took a huge turn up. Honestly, at the end of last season, if you had asked any of us at the end of last season if we thought Flus would be fired before this season started, I don't think any of us would have said yes. Honestly.
Well, to A-Dub too, any fucking buddies out there is an upgrade from Eberflus. Anybody.
Look, Eberflus is going to get a DC job somewhere. He's
Yeah.
going to be a phenomenal DC.
Yep.
A phenomenal DC. Some of these guys who are OCs and DCs, look at Sala was a great DC, not a good head coach.
Nope.
Eberflus was a good DC, not a good head coach. McDaniels grew at OC, terrible head coach. He's killed 2 franchises, right? So I'm not overlooking any fact, broski. I mean, you could have done that, sure, but they thought that, like I said, hindsight being 2020, broski. I mean, they just came off a deep improvement offensively, defensively with that team. I get why they didn't fire him, and they thought that, hey, if this continues and we get Shane Waldron, who we all thought was going to be a better OC, and the defense plays well, that this team will keep moving forward, and it was the right call. In hindsight, obviously it wasn't. Oh yeah, I mean, we can argue about shoulda, coulda, woulda on Warren firing Eberflus last year, but if I would have asked you at this time last year if we should fire Eberflus, I don't think you were saying fire Eberflus. I don't think anyone really was. If Elon bought the team, that's the other thing I've heard Sarah. Well, Sarah said that too last week. If Elon were to buy the team, that stadium would be like legit. Everything would be like a Tesla interface too. It'd be like, yeah. But he looks like a meddling owner. But ownership aside, the coaching stuff aside, look at the game Monday night. Just another example. Monday night was another example of a Bears team shooting itself in the foot repeatedly.
Sunday.
No,
we played Detroit Sunday at 1:00.
I'm sorry, Sunday. I was thinking of
Minnesota game.
Early on, 3-0, and boom, you give them a fumble off Romadunze, short field. They turn into a quick 7. All of a sudden, it's 10-0, and boom, here we are again. And then you get the ball moving again, right? And Romadunze, boom.
Hey, Yoli, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Yoli. A fumble again just sets them back. Then when they finally start moving the ball, penalties. It's like anytime this team gets going, they do something to self-inflict a gunshot.
Well, good news is that we scored in the fucking first half. Hey, let's give them the clap. You know who had a rough game, though, was Jonathan Owens. I don't know what angles, especially on that JMO touchdown. I don't know what angle he was going for, but he had a really rough game.
JMO's fast. That's the part.
Yeah, I know that, but that was a dime and through double coverage.
Yeah.
But he just broke away. But if you look at where Jonathan Owens was, the missed tackles as well. We caught them in 3rd and long, missed the tackle, and then they get the first down.
Dude, the Bears, is it me though, Woody, or like 3rd and short, we get off the field, 3rd and long, we never get off.
Where we that fucking soft zone defense. Stop. It pissed me off.
Yeah. Real quick, back to Broski because he wants to die on this horse, on this mountain, which we can argue about all day. It won't change what's happened in the past. Ben Johnson last year said he wasn't leaving Detroit, so he wasn't even an option. Belichick might have been an option, and Harbaugh may have been an option. But also, you got to remember with Belichick, he wanted complete, total team control. That's why no team in the NFL hired him. So your best argument you've got, Broski, is Harbaugh. That's your best argument you got. And look at, fine, whatever. I'll just say fine, whatever. I don't know if it would have been the right move. Who knows if Harbaugh would have done better in Chicago? Maybe he would have. But where the Bears were sitting last year after improving and all the weapons and everything they were doing, I think they felt pretty good overall. Poles wanted to get rid of him. Warren and ownership didn't. I get it. Most of the fan base, I would say the majority of the fan base, was fine with where we were at. And dude, we've had our hearts dug by Harbaugh coming to coach the Bears so many times, and it never happened. Right? Just right back. It's not a pretty good one though, Broski. When you think of this, and I hate to be going back and forth on this one, but let me put this in another way. How many times, Woody, did we hear Harbaugh's name with coming to the Bears, and then he goes, "Well, I'm just going to go back to Michigan."
Yeah. Yep. That was, first of all, that was Harbaugh's dream job. He wanted to win a national title, and when he came to the Chargers, I was like, wow, Chargers they lost all these players. They're going to go downhill anyway. Harbaugh did a hell of a job with this team with nobody on that team.
Just from a Bears fan perspective, Broski, I get it, and I'm not even saying you're wrong, but it's just he tugged the heartstrings of coming back and dangling out that he's going to come back to the NFL for like 3-4 years in a row, and then just every time, no, I'm going back to Michigan. And he could have been the hire instead of Eberflus, if we remember correctly. We could have gotten him instead of Eberflus, but he decided he wanted to go back to Michigan instead.
No. Nope. I don't want any college coaches, especially no. I know Ryan Day, like he's tough as shit, but let me tell you, there's not many. Pete Carroll. Look at Chip Kelly when he came in, did shit. All these Nick Saban, all these college coaches, they think, oh, I'm a stud in the college. I'm gonna go. No, it's a totally different world when you come up to. I want a settled, set head coach that was in the NFL to run this team. I don't need any college team.
And what Broski's argument has even more validity to it is Harbaugh's about the only college coach who's been able to go back and forth with success, right?
Yep.
So there's that. Broski, he said he wanted to coach the Bears when we hired Eberflus, and then decided, no, I'm going to go back to Michigan, and that's why we hired Eberflus. So you can see what I'm saying, though. There's a whole Harbaugh's not so clear. It's not clear as cut as maybe you and I think. There's something that happened, Broski, that you and I and none of us here watching even are clued in on with Harbaugh and the Bears. You know what I'm saying? There's something else there that prohibited that from happening, man. You know what I mean?
Merry Christmas,
Darren. But yeah, moving on. I don't want college coach either. I'm with Woody on that. No. There's one or two exceptions. If it's a college coach with prior NFL experience where they did well, right? Maybe they went to college for a little bit and want to come back. I'm fine with that because I get the whole idea of a refresh, but I don't want a guy with zero NFL head coaching experience coming from college. And I'm even hesitant on an OC or DC with zero head coaching experience. I will say this about Ben Johnson, though, where I'm kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm completely warming up to the idea of him, but if you notice Woody on last weekend's game, he called that game from the sideline and not from the booth.
You say he wanted to spy on our team. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think because we see this with our current interim. When he was calling the plays from up high, the offense he called was much better. When he came down the field level, his play calling wasn't as good. And I think Ben Johnson, who a lot of times calls it from the booth, actually, I think it was strategic for him to start calling games from the sideline because he wants to show GM, I can call a game from the sideline. I can make that transition. Because that is a tough transition that some guys don't make, be it as an OC or a DC. And I think he's doing it on purpose to show teams that are needing of a head coach, hey, I can call from the sideline. I'm not like a guy who's never called the offense from the sideline and only called from the booth. That was a very smart move by Ben Johnson. I'll give him good credit.
I still don't think I'm still sticking by. I think he's going to go home to Carolina. Bryce Young's coming out of his shell. Even though Carolina has their coach for only a year, if Ben Johnson says, I want to go home and coach, I'm think they're going to get him. That obviously Carolina is the same record, as we are right now. I think if the season ended today, Bears would be 9th pick at 4-11. So
then you got him. You got the whole Pete Carroll thing, which we touched on. Which I don't know who he brings with him as his coordinators. We've talked about Vrabel quite a few times. That could be interesting. Ron Rivera supposedly publicly said he didn't want it, but I think, look, Ron Rivera is not a bad pick either. He's a defensive coach, but he has good experience on the offensive side of the ball with good players and hiring good coordinators. Mike Zimmer, I don't know about that, Ryan. You might be reaching there. But I think there's going to be some more curveballs. What if Stefanski gets fired in Cleveland?
Yeah, I'd take him and Vrabel. That'd be, and then my other coach too. I keep saying too, Kellen Moore. That's it. Yeah, that's if I don't know. It's weird about Dallas too. Now the rumor is that they might be extending Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, Jerry Jones said he hasn't ruled that out. And in the same breath, after he said he's a Super Bowl winning coach, he listed all these, like he said, nothing. He was glowing. It was like a glowing resume by Jerry Jones on Mike McCarthy. It's like, you might be getting it. And then they come out. Oh, look at the last 4 games. The Cowboys have played really, really well. They just won that big game. This last game, they just won a big game. I mean, I think McCarthy. Even the announcers, look, they're all playing for McCarthy. I think McCarthy's getting an extension in Dallas. Rivera does have a physical health issue. But he's in remission as far last I heard, though. I mean, that's the thing about Rivera. I think Bears fans always like that whole thing of going not back to the well necessarily, but former Bears. It would be a good story if Rivera came back. Carroll's head coach, Rivera, is DC. That maybe, yeah.
Well, like Sarah said, I mean, he's what, 72 years old, Pete 72. Carroll?
He doesn't look a day over 60.
Yeah, I mean, how many more years does he have to coach and stuff? Yeah, I mean, that's a rough call.
I mean, though, okay, let's say he gets 4 or 5 years. And if he's going to groom his replacement, I'm not necessarily bad with it. Because, like, if he can get us a Super Bowl, I don't care. I mean, shit, at this rate, we're keeping coaches 3 years and letting them go anyway. But if I can get Pete Carroll for 4 or 5 years and he can groom the next head coach and build a consistency tree. Okay, 73 Broski's saying. So I don't know if the guy's going to go until he's almost 80. But I mean, interesting. It is interesting.
The other interesting thing is I'm thinking this is Andy Reid's last year. Who's going to take over that team?
Oh, Nagy.
Oh my God.
They've been grooming Nagy the last 2 years for him. Oof. He's calling all the offensive plays. Nagy's been calling the offense, and they just clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC today with him calling plays. And Nagy probably learned from his look. Nagy took the correct course. He came out as a head coach. He was a good OC. Came as a head coach, had a great first year, then just jacked it up. I mean, what else can you say? He jacked it up the next 2 years, gets fired, goes back home, gets more tutelage from one of the best, then becomes an integral part of this Super Bowl run they're on, and he's being groomed by Andy Reid. He's got head coaching experience now. He had mistakes that he's learned from. He engineers that Kansas City team. Nagy will not only be the next head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, he'll probably at some point where this team is, he's got a great shot at winning Super Bowl as a head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. And Bears fans will be beside themselves because he was such a terrible head coach for us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the process of the NFL, isn't it?
Yeah. People leave Chicago. They do the best.
Shermer is available. I mean, yeah, sure.
My God.
Stefanski may be available. We'll see. You know what? I wouldn't count out a certain guy in Pittsburgh If they get shellacked in the first round of the playoffs and one and done, there was talk last year he might get fired. Maybe he gets fired this year. I mean, that could be a curveball.
Yeah, the rumor next week. The rumor next week will be Doug Peterson when he gets fired is interested in the Bears job.
Well, and Peterson, look, he won a
Fuck
Super
that.
Bowl. He won a Super Bowl as head coach. You can argue he took a team with no talent in Jacksonville and made them relevant for at least a little while.
Very little while.
Which is kind of like what Nagy did with the Bears in 18, because we really didn't have the talent in 18, but he made us a playoff team and a division champ with little to no talent. And then the problem was he thought, well, no, geez, these guys can actually play. And then for the next 2 years, he tried to call it that way, and they couldn't repeat the hype. I think that kind of might have happened with Peterson a little bit in Jacksonville. Now, could Peterson go back to being a coordinator? I don't know. You're a Super Bowl winning head coach. I think he gets into a head coaching job somewhere. Maybe in the NFC. Yes, Broski's on board with that, and I can understand why people would be on board, because some people just look at what he did in Jacksonville this year and go, "Oh, we got to look what he's done since he's been in Jacksonville in total." And he took a team, and he took a quarterback who isn't really that great, but made him pretty good.
Darren, Vic Fangio's not leaving the Sheagles.
No. And Vic Fangio should never be anything but a DC. He proved that when he went to Denver.
And that's what I say, Bear Down Mike, all the time. Oh, God, Rex Ryan.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Mike. Rex Ryan said he wants to get back in the coach.
God.
That's what you remember though, Woody, a couple weeks ago I said the Bears job is going to be one of the most coveted jobs in the marketplace this year. And some people are like, oh no, who would want to come to Chicago? The ownership. Rex Ryan all of a sudden wants to coach again. All of a sudden we get Pete Carroll wants to coach again. All these guys we would be like, oh yeah, All of a sudden these people want to coach. John Gruden was at Halas Hall last week.
Yep.
And I don't know if it was for Barstool Sports, but I think if anything, that would be the excuse for him to go there.
No, he, like I said last show, he wanted to try the deep dish. That's what he said.
Yeah. So
Lovey Smith, Jesus
Lovey
Christ.
Smith, you know what? That's the funny thing. Lovey Smith has not been mentioned. Yeah. But you know what my problem with Lovey Smith is, Darren? A lot of Bears fans love him because he took the team to the 06 Super Bowl. I hate him because of what he did in the 06 Super Bowl. He lost. He abandoned the run game the second Thomas Jones got hurt. He single-handedly ruined Rex Grossman's mental state and career in that game. His best offense he ever had anywhere as a coach was 15th in the league, and that was the 06 season. And that was a season in which we had to win games by Devin Hester returning kicks for touchdowns and defensive scoring.
Yep.
So, dude, if we get Broski and I completely 1,000% agree on this. I think we all do. If we could get John Gruden. Yeah, roll up the truck. I see Broski and I agree on Lovey too.
But anyway, the coaches aside, because it could be anybody. The game on Sunday at Detroit, a lot of couldn't really get the running game going. We couldn't stop Gibbs. There's not many teams that can stop Gibbs. But the kick in the fucking nuts was that fake fumble that Goff did.
Dude, but what a play.
What the fuck?
Dude, that was the stumble Ruski, right? So they make it look like Jameer fell. Jameer falls down. Goff fakes like he stumbles and pops up and throws a nice, clean little easy pass to his wide open, was a tight end in the end zone. That was a cool. That reminded me of 2018 Matt Nagy and all the crazy plays they would come up with.
Yeah.
That's a team that's rolling, and they're feeling it.
And Laporta was wide open. I mean, what are you going to do?
And he was wide open. And the thing that really got me about the Bears, offensively, every time we get something going, like we're climbing back into it, they find a way to shoot themselves in the foot, be it a fumble, be it dropping a pass, be it taking bad penalties. That hurts. And then defensively, we get a sack, and then we just now it's 3rd and 13. I almost like when they got the sack, I'm like, no, 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 don't sack them because now it's gonna be a first down. If it's 3rd and 4, we're gonna get off the field. If it's 3rd and 13, they're gonna get a first down every freaking time. If you look at that game statistically, passing wise, pretty close. Pretty close between Caleb and Goff. Pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Running
Broski,
wise, they outran us, I think, like 3-1 in yards.
yeah, 146 to 59.
Yeah. Turnovers, we had 2, they had 1, right?
0.
They had 0. That's right. We didn't get it. We almost had it. And those were both early, and that set the tone for the whole game. Penalties, I think we had 2 more than they did, but the yardage. But it's not about how many; it's about when they occurred. And they always occurred for us at the worst possible.
I mean, besides the rushing yards, we were right there. Like time possession, they had 3 minutes more.
Yep.
Total yards, they had 475. We had 382. Passing yards, we were 6 yards behind them only. The rushing, what killed us.
Caleb's
they had
over 100 again.
Yeah, they had 27 first downs. We had 19. So it's not like the score. With the stats and stuff, it should have been a lot closer.
This is the second week in a row where the score is not an indicator of how the team or what. It's an indicator, yes, but it's not an indicator on how well they are doing certain things. They are doing a lot of things really well, but the problem is they shoot themselves in the foot and they don't finish.
But Keenan Allen is playing for next year. He had a phenomenal game. His catches that he made.
We're going to have about 100. Let's say it's a $20 million pay bump, right? Last year was 30. Let's just say this year it's 20 for sake of argument. That gives us about $102 million, and we need to fill 21 roster spots, I believe. And we've got 7 draft picks, so that's 14 roster spots. So between free agents and re-signings, you've got 14 guys, and we'll call it about $85 million you can spend. I am not against bringing Keenan Allen back at $16 million a year for 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
With team option on the 3rd year or something.
Absolutely.
I am not against. People are like, oh, he's so old, but yet he still plays at such a high level. I see no. I mean, he's had a couple drops, but everyone's had a couple drops on this roster this year, which has been unusual. Look, the entire coaching staff is gone after week 18. I mean, everyone, lock, stock, and barrel. Even the strength and conditioning coaches are all gone. I think everyone's gone out of that coaching organization. But I would keep Keenan because here's the thing. Offensive line is playing pretty darn good. Even with Braxton Jones and Tevin Jenkins basically getting hurt within 3 plays of each other and going out, Bourne played pretty good, but I don't think Bourne should stay next year. The other guy that came in for Tevin Jenkins, he should be gone. Yeah, unless he's on a rookie deal, he should be gone. Kieran will stay because he's on a rookie deal, obviously. So they're going to try to develop him. He was a rookie. He's still got development time to go. But the starting 5 that started the game, I'm cool with keeping all 5 of them. And Shelton is pretty good in the league. The only upgrade possibility we've got is a kid from Atlanta. That's if Atlanta lets him get to the free agent market. When you look at, left tackle is going to be now probably more of what we're looking for in the first pick of the draft for us because of the injury, right? But free agency for what we need, there's not a lot out there unless you go into the plus 30 years old category.
Yep, and polls don't like to do that.
I don't know many GMs that do like to give big money to a 32-year-old anymore.
Well, not only big money, Poles doesn't like to give any money really to anybody over 30.
Over 30. But Broski, the only upgrade for Shelton right now is the kid from Atlanta in free agency. That's what it looks like.
Which I don't think Atlanta's going to get rid of.
And I don't think Atlanta lets him test the free agent market.
No.
So we may have to re-sign Shelton. And Shelton's been playing adequate. in that line. He's a lot better than what we had the year before. A lot better,
Right.
night and day better. The amount of pressures he lets through is next to zero compared to what was let through the year before. He's not a single point of failure on this offensive line, not even close.
The trash out.
I almost said Mark Pryor. Tell my Cubs fan. Pryor has been pretty darn good at right guard since he's been inserted as a starter the last couple of years.
You're all right. Come on.
Yes, if they're there, bro. Like I think left tackle is what we're gonna have to now. I don't know if though is a second round guy a guy you count on to be a starter right away. A first round guy in the top 10, yeah, I can see that. But now if you're talking about the 36th or 37th pick in the draft, is that a guy that Woody you're saying you need to start right away and be an impact guy from day one?
No, not from day one. He needs to, like I said, when you're getting the second round, third round for offensive linemen, they're more depth or learning, sitting behind and learning a little bit.
I think we were fine with Braxton. I mean, I had no problems with Braxton Jones. Did you have a problem with Braxton Jones as a starting left tackle?
Not towards the end of the season. Beginning of the season, he was penalty hungry.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But he seemed like he was getting into the system by the end of the year. But, he's out for the year now.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a rough start compared to his first 2 years, but he's a pretty good left tackle. I think if we were to cut him, let's say, he'd get snatched up as a starter somewhere pretty quick.
Yep.
I think our tackles are actually good, but now with Braxton's injury, we may be forced to draft the left tackle because Kieran is not ready. That's all. Oh, Broski says the center in the second round is a day one starter.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? Look at the centers. I know for the tackles and the guards, maybe not, but center you might be able to do it.
Well, this year's draft is offensive linemen hungry, like they're
heavy,
packed.
Yep.
So, maybe we get those, one or two in the first round. I would definitely pick the best offensive lineman on our first pick. I don't care who it is.
I don't need a right tackle because I got Darnell Wright. So I might not want to get a guy who's predominantly a right tackle per se, but any of the other four positions along that line, I'd agree. I don't know. I mean, Broski could be right. We could draft a center and not re-sign Shelton. I would almost want to re-sign Shelton and draft the center so I have at least a backup plan. Depth. Like five guys who started the game on Sunday, I'd want them all back for nothing else to ensure I have greater depth. Even if I'm going to draft the guy to replace him, I want to ensure I have greater depth because that's been our problem right now.
Because these offensive linemen that get injured.
Yeah.
Then we're like fluctuating. It's like the Cody Whitehair days again.
Yeah, we had no depth, we get no consistency. They can't gel as a line, and then it snowballs about. Well, this player can't this player can't that, but there's no line help from anyone. There's no. It's so much harder on them when they're not working as a good unit. But I saw that the same problems with Woody as you did in this game. It's like every time we get something going, even defensively, we get something going, they would find a way to screw it up. So looking forward to tomorrow because we've got like 12 minutes left and we got a game tomorrow.
22 minutes left.
22.
It's all right. It's that panhandle time. I got you.
Panhandle time, and I had another big Christmas. I hope everyone got to stuff themselves full of good Christmas.
Yep, I got my good hat, my throwback New Jersey Devil, and I wanted to show you this trophy husband.
I'm Papa Elf today. I got the Christmas attire on, and I'm Grandpa Claus on my coffee cup.
You are my trophy husband.
I'm digging that. We got a long time to talk about the draft, guys. Let's move on from the draft.
Yeah,
we got a long offseason starting Sunday.
Let's talk Seattle tomorrow.
Let's talk Seattle. So look, Seattle's a weird team here, right? Because the 12th man's been their thing, but the 12th man really they have a losing record at home. They are a better team this year on the road than they are at home, which is interesting. Seattle's been like the Lions of the 80s and 90s. 1 week they're really good. The next week they can't even figure out what the football is. They still have a little something to play for in that division. They're still somewhat in the hunt. I mean, a loss and they're going to be eliminated. But they've got a little something to play for. The Bears, all we can do is, play spoiler, and guys can be playing to put stuff on tape to get contracts. That's about it.
They're only favored by 4,
They're
Seattle.
only favored by 4, yeah.
Let me see if there's an early injury report. Let's see. Obviously, Braxton Jones out for the year.
Yep.
Let's see who we got.
So I wonder who's going to start it. I hope it's not Kieran. Kid's not ready, man. We're going to destroy that kid's confidence before he even gets started.
All right, so for Seattle so far, Kenneth Walker, good runner. He's out tomorrow. Brady Russell, their tight end, is out. And Kayvon Wallace, their safety, is out tomorrow.
It's in Chicago. It's the season finale in Chicago, bro.
So we're going to – the Bears' rush defense, because we had problems all year. Carbonet is a good runner for Seattle, so he'll be in tomorrow. Now, for the Bears, Hicks, Homer, Jenkins, and Tavarius Moore is out. Questionable is Dexter, Kramer, and our smartest guy. Did not, let me see, limited participation. So, yeah. So it's really I'm worried about is, Jenkins is out, but Dexter is having a good year for the Bears. He's questionable with his knee tomorrow.
And who else was questionable? The O-line. You had O-lineman that was questionable.
Let's see. Hold on a second here. Did not participate.
Pretty much Mike.
Just who's out is so Karan is playing if needed.
He's gonna be needed.
Yeah, so Tevin Jenkins are only O-lineman and Braxton Jones are out. That's it.
So Kieran's gonna be on the left side. Our depth is so bad, and Kieran has been pressed into service way too early. He's not ready for it. We saw that.
No.
Though, maybe he takes a step forward in this game. He learns from the Minnesota game, and maybe he plays a little bit better. And he is a developing lineman, but this coaching staff, I have no faith in to develop anyone over these next 2 games.
Yep.
I say that even though we're seeing development in Caleb, the offense has gotten better under Brown. He is obviously auditioning for a full-time OC position somewhere next year. He's not going to get a head coaching gig, but he is definitely a candidate to get an OC position. Defensively, Washington is not going to be a DC anywhere after this. He's just trying to get on someone's staff. Charbonnet is probably going to run all over us. Yep. DK Metcalf is probably, you can't.
And Lockett.
Yeah. It's a tough game. And, the thing that's hard is the way the last 2 scores are going, you're like, you look at the Bears and say, how can I even think they're going to be in it? But then you look at the stats and you're like, but yet they were. I think the Bears, tough game.
It's either going to be a blowout because the Bears can't win close games, by the way.
Yeah. We lose every single close game.
Yep.
It's a team that's close, given the right head coach and a couple pieces, 1 or 2 pieces.
Well, Paul, to answer not your question, but I wouldn't underestimate Geno Smith's arm. He has legs too, so we need a spy.
Which will be Sanborn.
Yeah,
who also needs an extension, by the way.
But don't underestimate Geno Smith's arm. Because Metcalf and Lockett are always at that ball. But Geno Smith's not playing the Geno Smith year this year. So we'll see. See what happens. That's why they play.
And I think they just shut Brisker down because Brisker could have been back 2 games ago.
Yeah, I would. I'm all for that. Because if he gets another concussion, that sacrifices his career or just maybe all of next year.
And Tyreek, he's actually hasn't played bad. Everyone can cherry pick. Oh, he got burnt on this one play, but then there's 20 other plays where he's stopping something. So Tyreek's not bad, but Tyreek needs to grow still a little bit more. I think we've seen a little growth out of him. The mistake he made in DC with taunting the fans, that was inexcusable. I think he learned from that. But we've got some people on defense. I just hope that Washington calls a good game tomorrow because look, you've got the personnel to do things. Like, why were you stopping the run last year with the same personnel, but now you're not scheming it right? You're scheming it differently, and we can't stop the run for anything. Go back to what you were doing last year because it worked. Stop this soft zone on 3rd and long. It doesn't work. Even my son's calling you out while we're watching the game.
Well, didn't we change our scheme this year? Then we run a 4-3, 3-4.
Yeah, but JJ dropped 2 pick sixes last year, Broski.
Oh, yeah, I know
so we can all cherry pick. Oh, my God, look at this one play. I mean, the thing is, it's harder for us to cherry pick all the great plays because we tend to forget them. But we always remember the plays they could have, would have, should have.
And Jalen Johnson dropped that easy pick 6 against Detroit
Last year. So yeah,
that's why they're not wide receivers.
Yeah,
there's a reason.
Tyreek has made some really nice plays, but then he turns around and gets burnt on that one play by J-Mo, and I get it. J-Mo is freaking fast, and his angle, or he didn't get beat on that when it was Owens who got beat on that.
Yeah, Owens had a bad game.
And sometimes he gets beat, and the coverage is perfect, and they just make their quarterback makes a great throw to a receiver who makes a good catch, and it's well defended, and they just make a play. There's that too. So they've got pieces. I don't know why. Look, if you're Eric Washington, you're trying to get a job somewhere as a coach, right? Why are you being so conservative and not getting after the ball?
No, I answered you, Broski. We definitely need cornerbacks next year, maybe 1 or 2.
I'm
not sold. I'm not sold on them.
I'm looking. Look at now. You're talking 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round for these guys if you're drafting them. So the odds of them being immediate impact are slimmer. As far as free agency, there are some interesting names out there. It depends if you want how much money we want to spend on a corner.
Well, 4th, 5th, and 6th round is where some of the talent is too.
Yeah, it is. So this draft is weird. There's some weirdness to this draft this year. I'm good with our secondary overall.
It's all right, Broski.
But yeah, I mean, I think we could use some depth there too.
Yep.
And because even like some of the guys you brought in, they're playing well, but they're not getting any younger too. So you always got to be getting some youth in there.
I mean, the only one I trust to come in and do something if a cornerback. I like Terrell Smith.
Yeah,
definitely, he's playing great.
I mean, I like Smith. I like Tyreek. I think he's still showing signs of potential and improvement. I mean, everyone goes at him because they're not going at JJ. So he's going to get the lion's share of balls thrown at him. Yeah. So it makes it even easier for us to cherry pick, oh, look at this and that. But he's getting the lion's share thrown at him. And he's actually acquitted himself pretty well. If our defensive line could get more pressure on the quarterback, it would help Tyreek Stevenson out tremendously. So I think in the draft, I'd be more concerned with the D line than the corners at this point. I hope that makes sense. I think the safety, we need some depth too. I mean, we're seeing it right now. But once again, if we fix the D line, I think that kind of helps resolve the safety. Owens has not been garbage, dude. Come on, everyone you don't like is garbage. Owens has made a lot of good plays for us this year. Well, he's probably not an everyday starter, but he doesn't start every day, right? He wasn't even brought here to be an everyday starter, right? So, I mean, Owens has made some pretty darn good plays for us this year, and he doesn't get burnt. There's not many times you've called his name for getting completely destroyed on a play. Like last week, got destroyed on one play with Jameis. But, I mean, if you fix that D line and the pressure gets better, Owens could be a starter. Because I think we improve the pressure on the quarterback. That improves your CBs and your safety.
But you can't get better than much better than Montez Sweat, and he's not getting in there.
He needs a line mate on the other side.
Yeah, either, and they played Austin Booker a lot last week as well. But I mean, look at Myles Garrett. He could do it all by his fucking self. I know he's a freak and something special, but Montez Sweat is a great player as when he came over from Washington last year. That this year he's been
hurt.
Non-existent. Yeah.
He's been hurt all year though. He's been
Yep.
he's been playing injured all year. It's been shins and ankles. So he needs to get healthy for next year. He started out week 1, remember, on the injury report.
Yep.
He's been on their injury report virtually every week to the point now he just practices with the injury. We need more pressure. We need someone to be on the other side of Montez to get some more pressure. Interior needs a little. We're getting good pressure of the interior actually overall, but we definitely need more help, and we need better scheming with more use of the linebackers and corner blitzes, which we have barely done at all.
I don't see too many stunts too on the defensive line. I see all these teams. Defensive lines are doing stunts. You seen Detroit do it last week. They hit the guy, then they switch up, and he goes right in. We got to do that, man. Got to do it.
We got to do more. So there's some things. I think some of the things that we're complaining about as Bears fans is coaching, and some of it's personnel. But I think coaching, a good scheme, a good coach fixes. I'd say about 60%. The other 40% is personnel, and that's because we definitely lack depth in the line. Maybe it's 50-50. I don't know. But we need to do something. So for this game against tomorrow night, I don't know what we're going to do, to be honest. We're the walking wounded. We got guys who've been playing hurt, a lot of heart. Like I'd almost rather have Sweat just sit him for the rest of the year and let him start getting healthy for next year. In fact, I even say the same thing with Dexter. Just sit him at this point. I mean, because I don't want him making it worse where now maybe he misses time next year.
Yeah, because if somebody gets a torn ACL now, you're pretty much out for next year.
Gordon has been playing well, but they're not even utilizing Gordon on blitzes enough. They're not utilizing him hardly at all. I don't know what is going on. So for tomorrow's game, I think the Bears are playing straight up, no stunts, no nothing, and they're just going to. Look, if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, we're going to be in this game, and it could be a one-score game. If we do what we did against Detroit, what we did against Minneapolis, and keep and self-inflicted gunshot wounds, it's going to be an ugly score.
Yeah.
So it's going to go one. If we don't do the self-inflicted stuff, we're going to win the game.
Yeah, like I said, with this personnel, our 3 and outs are just terrible. Terrible.
Once again, though, coaching, right? Bad play calling, bad scripting. I mean, look, part of me says, okay, the fan side of me says I want to win the game. The analytical side of me says lose out. Who cares about Green Bay next week? Who cares about Seattle this week? Lose out. Maybe we get down to pick 6, pick 7. I don't know how much further back we can drop down from 9. But don't jeopardize putting us at 15 or 17 either. The linebacking core as a group, Mike, they kind of feed off each other in a group, and they haven't. But see, it's a cascade effect, though, right? If the line doesn't do it, then that affects the linebacking core, and that affects the secondary. It all starts up front. The reason why we're not seeing the linebackers and the secondary playing as well is because the front's not playing as well. They all feed upon each other. Edmonds, Edwards, and Sanborn as a unit have been okay, but they haven't played as good this year as they had the last 2 years together. Does that make sense?
It's probably they're getting so freaking tired with the offense, 3 and outs. Yeah. I know I would be.
And just the scheme and the way the defense, not just the way the defense has been called. I mean, these 4 guys, they're out of gas. By third quarter, the linebacking core is out of gas. And we don't put them in the good position to win. We really don't. But free agency guy, we got 2 more games before we even get there, right? So I don't know, Woody. What do you think is your prediction for tomorrow?
Oh man, I think we're gonna play spoiler. I really do. Um, I'm gonna say 24-20 Chicago tomorrow. I think a lot of these players are going to be thinking to themselves, "Hey, we're playing for, next year. I want to start. Blah blah blah." They're sick of these fucking close games, losing them, and then first of all, we need to get ahead. I want to play. I want to play a game that we're ahead a little bit instead of losing and then 3-and-outs, and we're losing more. Then we have to play comeback in the third quarter. As you see, we're a second half team. But we got to stop the running game too. Like I said, Carbonet is a good runner. He's not better than Kenneth Walker, but he can push the ball just like San Francisco when they had no McCaffrey. And what's his face? He ran all over us as well. I think that's the key is stopping their running game, and of course, Metcalf and Lockett too and stuff. So, and Metcalf's a strong guy, tall guy, fast guy, as you've seen against a couple years ago against Arizona. But I just want to know who's on who. I mean, Tyreek Stevenson's going to be on one of them. Metcalf, he likes to do a lot of slants as well, like an A.J. Brown across the middle.
Yep.
So our linebackers are going to have to get involved a little bit. So, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm going to play spoiler 24-20 Chicago tomorrow.
I'll go 21-17 spoiler if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. So my fan prediction is 21-17 Bears. The way things have been going lately, prediction will be 32-10. Sea chicken. You know what I mean? Because they just the way we shoot. And it's funny because Paul. It's funny because I could see that scenario too. Bears lose this week, and next week we go to Green Bay, and Green Bay really can't go up or down in the playoff position, and they let us go ahead and screw ourselves out of the number 5 pick and drop back to 15 by beating them. I really could see that happen. Look, these guys are still playing for contracts. So, I mean, well, a lot of these guys are playing for contracts. There's about 20 some guys on this roster who need to get a contract when the season's over. And then you probably got 4 or 5 who we could probably say they're playing not to get cut by whoever the next coach is. There's some guys who are safe, right? Rookie contracts, DJ Moore, guys like that, Jalen Johnson, they're safe. But guys are playing. Najigba Smith is tough. Lockett's tough. So, I mean, I'll tell you what, though. If we can get it to where Geno has to beat us with the arm, I'm a lot more confident in us winning. I'm a lot more confident. But he's taking the Seahawks 38-20. That's a pick, and he might not be off on that. Yeah, stop the running quadruple team Metcalf. But I hope you guys all had a great Christmas. The season has definitely not gone the way we've gone. I know we went a little off topic on coaches and the draft. Next week, we'll be back Sunday for pregame, or for, I guess, postgame. Pregame for everyone, for the rest of the league. Postgame for us. The next Wednesday night, we'll get into War Week. The following Sunday, we'll do our final pregame for the regular season. And then we'll start getting into the coaching search and personnel. We are going to get there, guys. We got a whole off season to talk about. And our off season starts a week from Sunday.
Yep.
So enjoy the game tomorrow as best you can. We'll be talking about it Sunday. So hope to see you then. Hope you guys all had a great holiday today. Ate a lot of good food, drank a lot of eggnog, and watched some Netflix football. And it was funny. It was great because Netflix they learned their lesson from the Tyson fight. I think shooting circles of death. It actually worked well today. And also hit up Woody for that TV service. I use it. Mike the Bear fan uses it. It works great. So hit up Woody for that.
And the game's on Amazon Prime tomorrow. A lot of people don't have Amazon Prime. Well, it's in the service.
So thank you for everyone tuned in. Thanks to everyone from YouTube and Facebook as well. And for those watching on Roku and Fire TV, Enjoy the rest of your holiday. Enjoy football tomorrow, and we'll see you Sunday.
Bear down.
Bear down.